Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and I don't think I've ever met a man who doesn't like a recliner with a lot of cushions. So let's make him some cushions to go with his recliner. And to make those pillows, I'm going to use this beautiful soft flannel fabric. It's by Penny Rose by Erin Studios. Normally we think of soft fabric for children, but this one's perfect for men. And I'm going to use the free pattern that's available online. I'll put a link in the description for you. It makes the two nice big pillows using this flannel. Now with so many great fabrics, you can do these pillows any way you want. And let's start with the pillow with the hat, the sunglasses, and the mustache. So when you print out the pattern, you're going to have a template, and it's going to have the hat and the sunglasses, and on the back it will have the mustache. And we're going to need to cut those out in a fusible web. Today I'm going to use a heat and bond. It looks like paper. One side of the paper is this rough edge, and that's the glue. And the other side is a very smooth paper. That's the side you're going to be able to draw on. And you're going to be able to trace that pattern right onto the paper. And you'll be able to see right through it and just trace over top of that picture. And when you cut it out, leave a little bit of edge all the way around because we'll cut it nice and tight when we cut the fabric. The background of the fabric is going to be the brown plaid. So I'm going to use a tan color for the hat, sunglasses, and mustache. And once your piece has been copied and cut out, you'll be able to fuse it onto the back of the fabric. Make sure you have lots of fabric around the outside and press it. Then turn it over and press it again. And you're going to have that paper stick onto this fabric. And once that paper has been fused on, then you're going to be able to cut out that shape right on that line. The sunglasses are cut out, so I have the good side attached to the paper. Now to take the paper off. And sometimes just flicking it with your thumb, the paper will come off. If you have a problem taking it off, you can just take a pin and rub it across the paper, and that's going to put a little cut, and then you will be able to lift up the paper and peel the paper off of the glue. Then we're going to take all of our pieces and fuse them on that 13-inch square. And once that's cooled, that is stuck on there permanently. The next will be to do a little zigzag or a satin stitch all the way around. And I have found a perfect color from Aurifil, and it is number 2314. You can see how perfect that thread blends in. And using a thread that matches very, very closely will hide any little mistakes that you've made. And when the satin stitching is done, give it a good press and trim it to 12.5 inches. Now we get to put a pieced border on it. And with the 3.5-inch squares, sew 4 of them together and make 2 strip sets of 4 because they will go on the side. And when the 4 are sewn onto the side, you just need to sew 6 of the blocks together, and they are going to go on the top and the bottom. When that border is done, add a very simple 1.5-inch border all the way around. And with the front done, all we need to do is a very simple back. And for the back, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric. And the fabric needs to be as wide as the pillow and a little bit more than half of the pillow. So you're going to have 2 pieces. And on 2 ends, you need to do a rolled hem. You'll roll under a 1/4 inch, another 1/4 inch, and just top stitch that 1/4 down. Place the finished side towards the center and match up the raw edges on the 3 sides. The next back piece is going to match up along the 3 edges, again with the finished seam into the center. And you can see that you have the fabric overlapping. Now you can pin and stitch all the way around, finishing the entire edge. When it's stitched all the way around, just take the corner and snip off the little point, and that's going to help it turn and lie nice and flat in that corner. And when you've turned it right side out, make sure the edges are nice and straight and press the entire thing flat. and you will have this little flap opening in the back. And in order to do a flange all the way around, we need to stitch the back and the front together. If you stitch right along this 1.5 inch edge, you will have 18 inches. So you can actually buy a pillow form that's 18 by 18 and it will fit inside. And with the flange stitched down, we're able to stuff the pillow. First thing we're going to do is stuff it all the way into the end. Then you're going to be able to put your hand into the back and pull that second piece and just tuck the pillow ends right in. And that piece then you'll be able to take and pull inside. The first pillow is now done. I love the idea of the bow tie, but I'm going to change it and make it look like a dress shirt with a bow tie. So I've taken one piece of fabric, I've cut it 16 inches, and I've done the whole width of the fabric. So it's almost 44 inches. And this piece is going to be the front and the back. Take one edge, fold it over 2 inches and press it. Fold it over again 2 inches and press it. And we're going to make that little piece look like a button front. I'm going to use a black thread because I want the black thread to match the plaid in the jacket, and stitch all the way down following that edge that you folded over that 2 inch, and stitch very close to the edge that has been pressed. So you're going to have 2 rows of stitching all the way down. Along this piece that has been folded over 2 inches, I'm going to place 4 buttons, but I'm going to need 5 measurements. I need the center measurement and then 2 measurements on each side. The center measurement will not hold a button because it's where the bow tie is going to be. So I will need 2 buttons on each side. Now you can sew those buttons on just as is, or you can make buttonholes. Even though the buttonholes are not going to be used, they're going to look like they're being used. So the fake buttonholes and buttons are put on. On the other long end, do just like you did before. A 1/4 inch over and 1 more 1/4 inch over, and stitch that down. And this is going to be underneath so you won't see it. Now I'm going to make a square pillow. It's going to be 16 inches. So I'm going to take the center measurement from the center of the buttons and measure over 8 inches and fold that right in half, right sides touching. So we have 8 inches over. Now we need to measure from this side over 16 inches and fold it. So the measurement is going to be 16 inches by 16 inches. Match up the raw edges and stitch right across both edges to seal that up. Turn the pillow right side out and poke out the corners and press it. Now you're going to be able to open it up and put the pillow inside. Now we need to put a bow tie on it. So you will need to cut 2 strips of fabric, the entire width of the fabric, and cut it at 4.5 inches. You're going to join them together and you're going to have one very long strip. And you're going to have somewhere around 88 inches. And we're going to trim it down after we do up the bow tie. Fold right sides together and stitch a 1/4 inch and stitch the entire very, very long piece together. And then turn it right side out. Press so that the seam is on one of the sides. And don't worry about finishing the ends because we're going to finish them after we tie the bow tie. The center of the back, put one end up to the other. With the top piece, just take it and do a big loop. We'll adjust this after. The top piece then is going to come down and you're going to see a hole in here. You're going to be able to take this end and shove it into the hole right through to the other side. And you'll be able to pull that out and tighten that. Now this is way too long for a bow tie, so now we are going to be able to adjust it till we get the bow tie look that we want. One end is going to come to the front, the other end is going to come to the back. And that is the bow tie. So we have one end up at the top and one underneath. We're going to take this now and trim it off and tuck the ends in. So trim it off a little bit and just fold that right inside. And you're going to be able to work that end in so that it lines up equal to that fold. And you need to do the same thing to the other end. Just cut it off and tuck it in so that it lines up with the fold. And once you have it set the way you want, you just need to close off the ends where you have the two holes. Now I'm just going to put a bead of glue right in between the layers and hold it and let it dry. And to prevent this bow tie from coming undone, I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to stick some glue in between the center of the knot. And the bow tie pillow is now done. So we have a nice big flannel cushion with the top hat, glasses, and a little mustache on it. And don't forget the nice flannel shirt with the bow tie. This will make a nice addition to any recliner. I'm sure he will really love how soft they are. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.